Hi guys. So I have a little story to tell you about something that happened between me and an ENTP guy this weekend. Just so you know, I am in no way attributing this one occasion to all ENTPs because ENTPs happen to be my favorite type. For me, I feel like ENTPs have always been the one type that I've gotten along with the easiest. We tend to have the same sense of humor and a similar outlook on life, despite the fact that we're pretty different people. But I thought this would just be a I thought this would be a good story to tell, just to have in the back of your mind if you're ever in a similar situation and you want to know that someone has gone through the same thing, whether they were an ENTP or just any guy. But since my channel is about MBTI types, I thought it would be helpful to talk about MBTI in terms of the story, just so I could sort of make sense of some of the things that he did based on his type. Again, not that all ENTPs are the same or anything, but okay, let me get into the story. So I was waiting on a bus station to travel a couple of hours to a different city, and I was online waiting for the bus. These two guys came up behind me online, and one of them immediately started talking to me. It was obvious that he was very charismatic and knew how to talk to girls, and I sort of got the ENTP vibe right away because he was sort of like jumping from topic to topic and just asking random questions, and it was similar to conversations I've had in the past when meeting ENTPs, especially ENTP guys, where they just sort of want to push your buttons and learn about you. But it was a little different because as an INFP, I'm usually skeptical about people that want to talk to me, and I come across as cold, and I sort of like try to give them the vibe that I don't want to talk to them so that they'll stop talking to me, because really I just wanted to sit on this bus and not talk to anyone for 2 hours and just listen to music and whatever. So I was being kind of cold, but he seemed to be very persistent in getting to know this random girl that he just met. So he convinced me to let him sit on the bus with me. And it wasn't a creepy situation. We were around the same age. He gave off the impression that he had good intentions. He kind of just wanted to like have a friend, or even if he had like romantic or sexual intentions that I was aware of, it didn't really matter. I was like, whatever, I'm never gonna see this person again. I might as well just sit with him on the bus. What's the worst that's gonna happen? So throughout the bus ride, we were talking a lot. He was really trying to get to know me. He was sharing a lot of information about himself, telling me about his career, where he travels the world as a videographer. And for some reason I didn't think to ask more about that career. Probably because he was so good at changing topics right away. Like I never knew any detailed information about him. So he gave me his Instagram, which he said he had just recently started, which is why there wasn't that many posts or followers. He was only following 30 people, and I noticed that they were all young girls. So I was like, okay, this guy's obviously just some like player dude who likes hitting on random girls. And it sort of clicked that I like understood his intentions then. Like he just wanted to sit on this bus to get with me or whatever. And I was kind of just going along with it. I was like, okay, I'm never gonna see this guy again. Like I said, let me just let him flirt with me. I just let him flirt with me, and you know, one thing led to another. Some stuff happened on the bus that I'm not going to get into. You know, we seemed to get along really well. I was acting very much myself around him, which I don't do with a lot of people. I've noticed that I tend to be most myself with ENTPs, or also ENFPs. I don't know, something about their functions, it just like clicks with me. I get along with them really well. So after the bus ride, like thinking back on it, I was kind of really proud of myself for not letting my feelings get in the way of anything. It was just like this fun thing that happened, which doesn't happen to me often because I often overthink things too much. And I was completely fine with never speaking to this person again. I didn't want anything more to happen. And it was a nice self-esteem booster because I was like, hey, this guy saw me and really wanted to flirt with me, and it happened, and it felt kind of normal, just like what other people my age do, you know? So my impression of him at this point was just like, okay, he's this ENTP guy. Oh, let me clarify that not only was I able to assume that he was an ENTP, we actually talked about MBTI a little bit, and he told me that he was an ENTP, so it's not just a speculation. So my impression of him at this point was basically, okay, he's this ENTP guy, really good at flirting, knows how to get women, whatever, it's fine. I was sort of taking advantage of him too, like I like the attention. So he was basically just some player, whatever. I was over it. But a couple of days later, even though I didn't let my feelings get in the way, you know, I can't help but overanalyze the situation. So I was stalking his Instagram, and he tagged some guy in one of his pictures, so I went to that guy's page and scrolled down a little bit, and this guy had a picture with my ENTP friend, but he tagged him under a different username. So I wasn't completely surprised. Like I could tell obviously that his Instagram was fake. It was just his like talking to girls Instagram, whatever. But I went to this Instagram and his bio read, dating expert, traveling the world, teaching guys how to talk to girls, or something like that. And I was like, oh. So not only was he charismatic, but what he does for a living is knowing how to talk to girls. And you could say I was pretty shook at that point, but I still had no idea the extent to which I was about to be shook. So in his bio he linked his YouTube channel that I went and checked out, and I found his YouTube channel where he has a lot of subscribers and about like 10 or 20 videos or so of him traveling the world picking up girls. And it doesn't seem that bad on the surface, but when you watch these videos, he completely discredits all of the girls that he's talking to. It's very objectifying. He tells his followers that the skills that he has will get a girl to fall in love with you. But what it really is he's tricking girls into having sex with him. If you watch his videos, he basically uses these weird techniques that somehow worked with me to get them to think of him as this nice guy who doesn't really do this often, and he makes girls feel good about themselves in the moment just so that later he could bring them home. And in one of his videos, he films all these conversations with girls, thinking that blocking their eyes out and and blocking their name out will make it okay. In a couple of videos, he shows their entire conversation through hidden cameras and microphones that either he's filming or his friends are filming, and it actually shows him bringing the girls home and then shows clips of them having sex in his room so he could be like, look, my skills worked because I was able to have sex with this girl. So I'm pissed now because I wasn't just dealing with any player, I was dealing with someone who plays for a living, which really made me feel like shit. So my self-esteem was really high after our interaction, like I said, because I felt good about myself. The fact that like this cute guy just really wanted to talk to me and get to know me. But now that I realize that the entire thing was just a game, my self-esteem is lower than ever before because everything he said was completely fake. And he put me in this vulnerable position and lied to me about the fact that he was vulnerable too. So as an INFP, I tend to see good intentions behind everyone. Like with my friendships with ENTPs, there are a lot of people that dismiss my ENTP friends or hate my ENTP friends because they assume that they're just insensitive jerks. But I know that, you know, I know that they're not. They're just curious. They just like testing boundaries. And there's no bad intentions. But after this encounter with an ENTP, my perspective on everyone in the world has changed because I know that his intentions with me weren't good, and I know that pretty much everything he said to me was like a planned out test or game or lie just to see if I would fall for it. And I don't really know how to handle the situation at this point. I'm now in sort of a slump where I feel like I can't trust anyone, especially guys, and I don't really know what to think of ENTP guys anymore. I'm still gonna assume that ENTPs and everyone have good intentions, but I think after this experience I'm gonna be more skeptical and not trust people right away, which sucks because I like being the optimistic one. Usually it works out for me, but I don't really know what to think anymore. So if any of you have had a similar experience with anyone, not just ENTPs, or if anyone has some kind of explanation or advice for me, comment below. Thanks for listening. You should subscribe and let me know what else I should talk about. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.